I have created my best base of 2025, and helping me with it was none other than the legendary woodcocker himself.
Yes, it's me.
And don't even ask what I had to do to make it happen. In this base, you'll find Woodcock's latest 100 plant farm, which can bring you up to 7,000 cloth per run. No joke, this isn't just farming, this is industry. I also made a mini compound where you can literally grow your own teammates, and you'll still have room for some beehives, so you can enjoy honey while the bees enjoy you. Large furnaces, those are for newbies. We're not like them, which is why this compound only has a refinery for smelting. Of course, there's space for all your workbenches, cookers, and whatever else you've got going on. The base is also equipped with a mini open core, protected by at least 2 walls from the outside. And if some unwanted guest sneaks inside, the turrets will make them a warm memory. Because my turrets are like a strict dad, if you're inside without permission, you're gonna get some discipline.
Nice.
And while this base is perfect for online defense, I didn't forget about offline either. You've got a bunker on the first floor, plus 4 rooftop bunkers that are completely splash-proof. Need multi-TCs? Just break the twig and slap down multi-TCs. Easy. This is my best base of 2025, and now I'm gonna show you what it looks like inside. I recorded this base tour on my birthday, so if you drop a like on the video, that would honestly be the best gift from you. Who knows, maybe I'll even start uploading more often. The entrance to the compound of this base is located on both sides, which should help avoid door campers. At least I hope so. Through the shop front, you can keep an eye on what's happening in front of your base. And if you open the double door and 2 single doors, you'll get a proper airlock. I'm pretty sure your door campers won't be happy about that. The compound area turned out really cozy and clean. You could even build a bee farm or set up a chicken coop here. I think your teammates on incubation duty will be pleased. And just in case, there's a turret watching over them. And now I'll hand it over to my colleague.
Oh yeah, a built-in farm with 100 plants. Thanks to it, you won't have to worry about cloth during a wipe. You'll be able to brew tea for yourself and your teammates, do crossbreeding, and bake pies. This farm is easy for anyone to maintain. It will provide you with more than 7,000 cloth per harvest. Water flows directly into the barrel from the water catchers. No need to build pumps or electrical circuits. Sprinklers will save you from manual watering, and the water reserve after rain will last for several hours of irrigation.
So now you know everything about the farm, let's move on. The compound is fully symmetrical and split into 2 zones, as you've probably already noticed. If you break this twig frame, you'll unlock the option to create a fully functional multi-TC, which will become a real problem for anyone trying to grief your base. The base is fully symmetrical. If you've got a farm for 100 planters on one side, then on the other you'll find a combat spawn. There's also a turret there for safety, along with 2 beds, 6 small boxes to store maintenance resources, a locker, and an exit to the other side of the compound. If you're feeling lost, this is the front yard of the base. Open the shutters to enjoy some fresh air. You can stash grenades, syringes, HV rockets, and more in the boxes under the ceiling. This is also where you enter the base, and if both entry doors are open, you'll have an unlootable airlock. Just 3 doors in, there's a jump up to the 2nd floor. At the top, you'll have 2 boxes for quick drop-offs, a bunch of doors, small furnaces, and at the end of the hallway, a turret. I'm confident you'll never run into issues with charcoal here, and even though there's a lot packed into this base, movement feels easy and fluid. I even managed to fit in some drop boxes on the wall. The auto turrets on the shooting floor will protect your open core, and right here you also have a jump up to the 3rd floor. And this is your main combat spawn for you and your favorite teammate. If you place some candles around here, it'll be super romantic. And that's basically it. From here, you enter the shooting floor of this base. Up here, you've got 4 auto turrets covering the entire area. You'll also have these great shooting positions where it's super easy to shoot while sitting and extremely hard for anyone to kill you. And of course, I couldn't skip including some of my signature touches. For example, on this side, I've got an unlootable repair bench and a small box. Don't ask why. I just like it that way, and honestly, it's pretty convenient. You also get a shooting angle through a square roof, letting you shoot not just at long range, but also keep control of your roof. If someone's up there, you can handle some business discussions with them. Thanks to the ramps, you can completely control the 2nd floor from up here, which is a huge help during online defense. And remember the repair bench I had under the triangle roof on one side? Well, on the other side, there's an unlootable locker. Why not? If it's there and it's convenient, use it. Since the base is symmetrical, the other side also has a ramp, and from there it's easier to defend the entrance to your base. Now let's head up to the roof. Access is through a double door, and as soon as you step out, you'll be greeted by 2 turrets staring straight at you. These turrets can't be destroyed from a minicopter, and even from the ground, it's basically impossible. Raiders will just end up dying on them. Between these turrets, there are double doors. Behind them are peek downs that let you shoot at enemies on the ground. And if you need to get down really fast, you can do it this simple way. 3 seconds and you're outside your base. Not bad, right? But let's head back for a second. Above that spot, there's another double door, and that's where your combat spawn is located. Here you have 2 lockers, 2 window frames, 1 bed, and a turret. The special thing about this turret is that it's not connected to the main power system. That means during a raid, you can just use the switch, open the door, and you'll be under protection. The power doesn't come from a wind turbine like you might think. It's powered by a solar panel like this one. That can be a game-changing factor when your base is already full of holes. There are also 4 bunkers on the roof, and they open in a super simple way. Inside you can store all kinds of items. If you're low on power, you can install 2 medium batteries. If you're short on space for valuable loot, you can place 2 small boxes and 2 large boxes. And if you're running out of space for depleted Aoka pistols, well, I'm sure you'll figure out where to stash them. So I've shown you all 4 bunkers, and yes, they close just as easily. That's basically it. Now let's head downward, and I'll show you the main space inside this base. By that I mean where your wipe start happens. To reach the first floor, you first need to get past the HQM bunker. I'm using admin tools, so I can just bypass it like this. The base starts as a regular 2x1 starter. As you can see, it's all pretty standard. In the far corner, you'll find the TC, and its upkeep is shown right in front of you. Very minimal cost for solid protection. To open this bunker, just break the twig ceiling. And to close it, just restore everything to how it was. Place a ceiling through the wall, then a spiral staircase on top, and upgrade it to any material. And just like I called today's base the best one on YouTube, I've also just dropped my best private base of the year over on Patreon. It starts from a 2x2 starter, comes with a comfy garage for any kind of vehicle, a meta 130 slot farm, and a ton of other features, including 2 secret bunkers that even experienced players won't find. Not to mention, you'll also get 2 completely new bunkers that have never been shown on YouTube before. Oh, and the OpenCore holds 15 large boxes, and the TC isn't in the default spot either, just saying. And for only $7.50, you'll get access to this base plus all the other content I post there. That's already 29 private bases ready for every playstyle. Link to my Patreon is in the description. Subscribe now, you won't regret it. Even though this base starts from a simple 2x1 starter, I'm going to show you the full foundation layout right away. And don't be surprised if it looks a little too wide. After all, you'll be fitting in a 100 slot farm, refinery, bee farm, chicken coop for 4 teammates and more. So you need to prepare the space in advance, and now you're looking at the final foundation layout. The build begins with the most standard 2x1, so just run to your chosen spot and build a default 2x1 with an airlock. It's almost impossible to mess this part up. I'm upgrading everything right away to the final materials, but you can start with stone if needed. Even in this small starter, you'll be able to fit everything you need to survive the first day. I'm upgrading everything right away to the final materials, but you can start with stone if needed. Even in this small starter, you'll be able to fit everything you need to survive the first day. I'm showing you the most convenient layout for all essentials. Now let's take a look at it from a player's perspective. You should definitely have an airlock here to protect against door campers. And as you can see inside, everything's in place for a comfortable start. As soon as you gather some resources, I recommend immediately starting the bunker so you can seal off your base at any time and stay safe from raids. For that, place a triangle hatch frame right here. Never place a ceiling for the jump up in this spot, otherwise the bunker won't work. Next, place a twig triangle ceiling. You can leave it in twig or upgrade to wood if needed. Now get out of the bunker space and let's make a proper exit to the second floor. Be careful with this area. It'll also serve as the future jump up to the third floor, so don't block it off with a random ceiling. I also want to thank everyone who comments, likes, and subscribes to the channel. You guys genuinely motivate me to keep creating. Thank you. I appreciate you a lot. To open the bunker, like I showed earlier in the room tour, you simply break the triangle ceiling, and just like that, it opens. To enter the base, we'll be using a twig triangle roof. From the outside, your base will look like this. And let's be honest, having a bunker from the very start is pretty awesome. Now that your bunker is ready, you can start building the first loot room inside your open core. This is where your depleted Aoka pistols will be stored, so I recommend upgrading everything to sheet metal as soon as you can. Valuable items deserve proper protection, because personally, I wouldn't want to share my loot with raiders. Although if they're willing to spend 50 rockets just to raid this loot room, then hey, I'm all for it. As for the ramp for shooting angles, I strongly recommend upgrading it to metal right away. In stone, it's basically useless. It can be easily eco-rated. And to make sure you don't get door camped through it, be sure to place double doors. Now let's move to the opposite side, but here we'll do things a little differently. As you can see, there's no lowered floor section, no half floor drop, but that doesn't change the fact that you still need to place a ramp for your future OpenCore shooting angle. And I'm placing a square hatch frame here to help with future stability. Once it's all built, make sure to place double doors here as well. Now on this side, we're going to add an extra wall right away. I also recommend placing a triangle buffer in this spot. This lets you add another mini loot room. I don't know how your wipe will go. Maybe by this point you'll already have a bunch of resources. And since this entire area will be very important for online defense later on, be sure to upgrade everything here to metal. You'll get upstairs using a twig triangle roof, and as for interior layout, I think you've got the idea by now. The only thing missing is a workbench. There's no room for it yet, so for now you'll need to go downstairs for crafting. Now let me show you how all of this looks from the player's perspective. And let's be real, this many boxes should already be enough for you. But what the base really needs right now is extra layers of wall protection. That's why we're now adding extra walls around the entire perimeter. You have to do this at this stage because by now your base has become a very juicy raid target, and these buffers we're placing now will help scare off early wipe raiders. The most important thing, make sure to build everything symmetrically. From this point on, there will be at least 2 walls between raiders and any loot in your base. Not counting ceilings, of course, which haven't been reinforced yet, and that's exactly what I recommend you do next. First, we need to build the exit to the 3rd floor. Take note that in the direction of the ramps, there will be 1 window frame on each side. You can use these as your initial shooting angles. Just make sure to at least place wooden window bars in them, so no one can climb in. And if you already have a bed, you can go ahead and place them too. Now, in this room, you and your teammate can do whatever your imagination allows. But I wouldn't stick around here for too long, because we still don't have enough doors, and that's exactly what we're going to fix right now. First, place a buffer wall in this spot. Then to the left of it, place a single door frame and 2 window frames. This will be your main entrance into the base. Use a jump up here to access the 2nd floor, upgrade everything to metal, and the door frames can be stone for now. Then we go up to the next floor and simply place walls all around the edge. Don't forget the ceiling above the jump up. As for upgrades, metal everywhere. Place doors as needed and make sure your entry doors open outward. Now from here, we go to the opposite side and we'll set up the foundation for your future refinery. If you already have one at this stage, feel free to place it. At this point, you can also start working on your shooting floor because let's be honest, those 2 window frames aren't really cutting it. Start by placing 3 half walls here and on them 3 window frames. Upgrade everything here to metal. Now pay close attention, there's no rush. First, you need to upgrade just 1 triangle roof to stone, then take your repair bench and place it. If you also want to fit a small box there, it needs to be placed right now. Once that's done, upgrade the 2nd triangle roof to stone and that's it. Now let's move to the other side, but here it's a bit different. First, place 3 half walls and on top of those, place 3 full walls. Next, place 3 metal ceilings. This is where your unlootable locker will go. Now place 3 window frames, upgrade them to metal, and we're nearly done. Just remember, placing the locker works the same way as with the repair bench. First, upgrade 1 roof piece, place the locker, and only then upgrade the 2nd piece. If you do it in the wrong order, it simply won't work. Believe me, I tried. And once everything is placed, make sure to double check that everything is lootable. That way, if you still have time, you can break the roof and redo it properly if needed. Now look, here we have a square buffer area. Jump down onto it and place a half wall, then place a square hatch frame on top of it. Now around this area, place 3 double door frames and on top of those 3 window frames. This will be the foundation for your future shooting angle. To finish it off, add a square roof and upgrade it to metal. The triangle roofs around it must stay stone. They must be different materials, got it? If you upgrade all the roofs to the same material, they'll connect and you'll lose some of your shooting angles, which is definitely not what we want. And since the base is fully symmetrical, you'll need to repeat this setup on all 4 corners. These are the exact spots where you'll later build the roof bunkers, so it's best to upgrade everything here to metal. Now we move to the middle section, where the OpenCore peak ramp is. Below it, you'll place an auto turret, and above it, you'll place 1 electric furnace and 1 medium battery. I also recommend adding double door frames all around this area to improve base stability. These can be upgraded to stone if needed. Then cover everything with ceilings and upgrade it all to metal, and that's it. You can now consider 1 full side of the base finished. But since the base is symmetrical, we move to the other side and do the exact same thing. Same turret spot, same double door frames and metal ceilings. Now we head up to the roof, and in this spot, place a low wall ledge for your future roof shooting position. Right here, place a double door frame, then jump inside and place 2 half walls on the sides and a window frame in the center. On top of the half walls, place nice triangle roofs. Now I recommend preparing the ceiling for your future turret right here. Make sure to upgrade the triangle ceiling where the turret will sit to metal, otherwise it can be eco-rated easily. And the final step, place your wind turbine here. If you also plan to use a solar panel, then don't place any low walls in that area. Now on the opposite side we need to do absolutely the same thing. I'll speed up this part of the video, it should be pretty clear, but I still recommend you practice building this base in creative mode. For practice I suggest using my room build servers. They're free and available for everyone. However, if you want Q-skip, access to custom biomes, rocket launcher, MLRS testing and more, then head over to my Patreon and grab a VIP subscriber tier. VIP status on the server is granted automatically. And if you're a fan of free stuff, there's a link to my Discord in the pinned comment under this video, where I occasionally give out free VIP statuses for my server. So if you trust your luck, definitely check it out. And while I was telling you all this, we've already finished the rooftop combat spawn and just wrapped up building the peak down. That means we now move to the other side and do exactly the same thing there. Also in my Discord you can find a teammate to play with. Another reason to join. So once you're done with that, you'll have 2 full rooftop combat spawns, which is honestly pretty solid, especially if you throw a turret up there too. Now we move on to the main entrance of your base. The most important thing here is to follow the exact order I show in the video. If you don't, you might run into issues with certain parts not snapping into place. I want your build to look just as clean as mine does in the video. From a defense standpoint, this add-on doesn't play a huge role, but it does let you place more doors, so I recommend just upgrading it all to stone. Remember in the base tour, I showed that 2 large boxes should go above the beds? You need to place those right now, because later you won't be able to. That's basically it for this section. Now all that's left is to place doors, windows, turrets, boxes, beds, and so on. Once you do that, your main entrance and external combat spawn will be fully ready. Now we move on to the opposite side, and there we'll do almost everything the same, but with a few small differences. Don't worry, I'll explain everything step by step. The most important thing we need to start with is the water barrel. Just like the large boxes, it needs to be placed ahead of time, so if you happen to loot a water barrel from some roadside spot, definitely save it. You can connect it later when needed. Now we jump into our farm, and here we need to fill the entire space with our small planting pots. You can fit over 100 pots here, but I recommend placing them exactly the way I do in the video. I'm combining single pots and full planters so you can still work on plant crossbreeding. Just a quick reminder, single pots don't support crossbreeding, sorry for the tautology. Also don't forget about the sprinklers, they're super important. If you're unsure about placement, check out how I've set them up in the base store. I positioned them in the most optimal way. Same goes for this setup here. Now we need to build the roof bunkers. They're actually super easy to make. Place 2 full walls, then add 2 large boxes and 2 small boxes. And to finish it off, cover the whole thing with a square roof. I also recommend testing it right away to make sure it's working properly. As you can see, everything works for me, so it'll work for you too. We'll need to build 3 more of these because the base is symmetrical. If you have any questions or something doesn't work, feel free to reach out in my Discord. Either I or one of my helper team members will be happy to assist, and if you want to become a helper yourself, just send your application to my Discord admin. If you've got what it takes, you'll definitely become a helper. The Discord link is in the pinned comment. Now place the double door so it opens toward the single doors to create a proper airlock. Keep in mind, this entire structure will decay over time unless you place a twig frame. That twig frame is what connects it to the main TC. Next, in this spot, place a half wall, and on top of it, place a square floor. Add 3 water catchers on top of that, and don't forget to place a low wall ledge in front. Now all that's left is to build tall external walls. Oh wait, not quite all. You also need to place metal barricades right on your gatehouse. They're pretty easy to place as far as I can tell. Speaking of metal barricades, you'll need to place them on the left and right sides too. You'll need 8 total for this base. It's not that many, but it's best to start saving blades early. I mean, who even recycles blades if they're planning to build a proper base? They give barely anything in the recycler anyway. Make sure to place the barricades on both sides of your base. I'm sure you got that by now. And once you're done with one side, we switch to a nice cinematic shot from the outside, and I'll show that the other side is built exactly the same. And if you want to prevent anyone from building onto your base, you'll need to run water pipes. Just attach any suitable element to the wall and follow the steps I show in the video. That's more than enough. Thanks to the twig, no one will be able to build onto or climb into your compound. This is one of those little tricks I really like to use in my survival runs. Now we need to build the multi-TC for this base. After all, we don't want raiders to blow up our main TC and grief the base. I'll be showing you the best multi-TC design available right now, resistant to 15 rock rockets. To raid it, enemies will have to break through 2 sheet metal walls or 1 HQM wall. And in terms of cost efficiency, this is the best setup you can build right now. Take a look. You see how the TC doesn't place right now? To fix that, just run into your compound and break this twig frame. Once you do that, the TC snaps right into place. Next, we need to build the bunker wall. You'll need to place it using the freehand method, just like I showed in my other videos. Make sure that when the wall is placed, its stability value matches mine exactly. If you've never built this kind of bunker before, I highly recommend you practice on my room build server. You'll have infinite resources there and can spend as much time training as you need. I'm sure you'll get it down. And just like that, you've completed one multi-TC. Now let's head over to the opposite side and build the exact same thing. Raiding just these 2 multi-TCs will cost raiders at least 30 rockets. Now we just need to finish the shooting floor. And of course, a special thanks to my OP tier patron. This legend has my back in a huge way. Also, thank you to all my other Patreon supporters. And of course to everyone who subscribes, likes and comments on my videos. Thank you. Because of you, I can keep doing what I love. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button and check out my other videos. Now I'm off to design a new base.